Hey folks, Matt Sharp here with another Pacific Angler Friday Fishing Report. We're filming for August 7th, so if it's nowhere near August 7th, click up here. This is the link to all the Friday Fishing Reports. We do it every week, so I should have something more up to date for you. What are you guys doing in Vancouver when it comes to fishing this week? That's the big question. Last week was glorious. It was a beautiful weekend. I managed to get out for 5 days straight of fishing, and my legs are destroyed. I hiked my bag off, I mended my bag off, I did a lot of casting, did a lot of catching too. So there were some fish out there and my body's destroyed. I am exhausted, but I wanted to make sure to bring you guys the report, and I wanted to update you on where I was at. I did the Skagit for a couple days and I did the Thompson for a couple days. So if you guys are considering that one, definitely stay tuned until the back end of the report. I'm going to go over what I saw because there might be some observations in that are going to help you guys out on your trip. We also have a lake update, and the Corbett Lake Lodge is tuned in and giving us an update on where they're at, which is super cool. And right now it's challenging for lake fishing because it was hot. God, it scorched last weekend. I saw it 39 degrees in the shade at one point. It is going to get cooler, which is great. We're going to look at the weather and see how that's going to affect things. But at least on the lakefront, you have to consider the heat when it comes to planning your trips. Brendan was out at High Hume, and like I said, we've got that Corbett report, so you'll be able to correlate trips if you're going into either of those areas. We are also going to talk about the tides and the Chinook fishing because it's been good. And lastly, we're going to talk about some stuff on the video front. I've been neglecting the fly tyers, promised more fly tying videos. Here they are. Zach has a really cool one where he's combining a bunch of the skills we've been talking about with blended thread and gills and that kind of thing with chronomids. And we've also still got the competition for winning the $165 Rio fly line, the new Rio Elite Gold. This is her here. I'm going to leave links to that at the back end of the report because you can enter to win one. We get to destroy a fly line in that video and look at some of the really cool technologies they're putting into fly lines right now. If you're looking for a new fly line, it'll definitely be one you want to consider. As always, guys, if you want to see more reports like this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's get into her. All right. Thanks for tuning in with me guys this week. So let's pull up the weather first. Let's take a peek at Vancouver weather, and it looks like we got a little bit of moisture this last couple of days, which is good, keeping things damp. We actually want to see that. Even though our river levels are really high, we don't want a summer to go completely scorching hot on us because it's going to cause big problems outside of fishing. But it also causes problems with the fishing as well. So we're going to see 19 Friday as you guys are watching this with a little bit of rain and a lot of cloud. We're going to see Saturday clear up a bit, Sunday looking nice and getting warmer into Monday, Tuesday, but not getting too hot. So that's great on a number of our fronts. Roll it out to Cache Creek where I was. Again, big shout out to Chris, Dale, Lloyd, Brendan, you don't count. But we've got good weather out their way and it's not as hot as it was, which is a good thing because it was like 38 degrees in the shade where we were fishing this weekend. Still great fishing, but it was hot. So that should chill things out again for you lake fishermen. It looks like Monday and Tuesday it'll get hot again, but at least it'll be manageable. Now on the fishing side of things, when we look out to the saltwater, this is important because this rain will affect you guys coho fishing. We heard good reports this week in the harbor as well as off the south end of Bowen. Not great reports, but good ones. Unfortunately, this rain will suck some of those fish up the river. Now for you river fishermen, that's a good thing. Go, get out there. We should see a wave of fish coming in Friday and Saturday. It will be interesting to see if that holds into next week with fresh fish coming in, but at least for now, it's a go time for the Capilano River. Beach fishermen have poor tides. They're high tides in the morning, which will make things a challenge to get out to where the fish move. Also, this high water will make things a challenge. It might be a one you stay home on when it comes to beach fishing. For the trolling fleet, there's still good fishing to be had, and because we've been having reports off Bowen, that means still there's quite a few fish coming, and they should keep coming until September. And so you still should have good opportunities in the harbor, off the mouth, as well off Bowen. We'll see if those Bowen reports keep coming because that means fish are coming our way and it should be good. Across the strait on the saltwater front, we heard decent reports. Maybe not as good as last week, but we heard some really big fish, which was super cool. When we look out at the tides, we're seeing high tides in the morning, like I talked about for you beach fishermen. That's not ideal. but the tides do get mellower. Now, for mere mortals who are out saltwater fishing, mellow tides are a good thing. They don't push you around as much. Yes, the top guides can easily find cool spots and big swing tides that produce a ton of fish, but it's hard to find those spots. It's hard to hit those spots at the right time. Mellow tides are nice, and we got mellow tides coming. They start chilling out Saturday, definitely chill out Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So definitely worth looking at if you're getting out saltwater fishing. Coming into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we got good high slacks in the morning, so you want to look at those. Overall, definitely go time. Nothing out there that concerns me to say, hey, stay at home when it comes to saltwater fishing. Okay, now let's look at the weather, because I do see some concerns there. I do see some northwest winds, which has been a problem for everybody for the last 2-3 weeks. Anytime you get big heat, big moving air, it's going to be a challenge. I want you guys to check your Strait of Georgia weather reports really carefully if you're considering making a run across the strait. Harbor still should be good. You should be protected in there, but still keep your eye on it. Okay, let's look at rivers. Let's talk where I was this weekend. So I headed up to the Thompson, some old friends. It was brilliant. We had a ton of fun. We fished hard on, I want to say, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, chilled out on Friday, had a few beers. It was excellent. And the fishing was interesting. So if you guys are considering hanging up the Thompson, there's concerns with water levels. They're still very high. We're at like June 10th water levels right now, and it should be much lower. What that's done is we're getting really dirty water below Ashcroft, so below the Bonaparte put in. We were on the Bonaparte on a ranch, and I think it has something to do with the fires that they've seen over the last 3 years, and now the high water that they're seeing. There's a lot of dirty runoff. The Bonaparte itself was chocolate milk. We tubed in it and had some fun. It was brilliant. But at least for fishing reasons, it's a challenge if you want to go below Ashcroft. So that's fishing around Spence's Bridge. I spent a day fishing down there, and though I did hook one of the biggest fish I ever hooked on the Thompson and did not land it because the thing just freight trained me, I didn't put up very good numbers. Flip it around, we did a really cool drift from Savinaw, the lake, down to sort of Juniper Beach area. The water's clearer. It's still colored up there, and it's still very high. This changed things, so my classic riprap runs, you know, where there's really deep ripraps or really steep ripraps, and you throw hoppers off them, they didn't seem to produce very well. I think the water was moving too heavy, there was too much water there, and the fish are either down deep and not looking up like they normally are, or are just pushed out of those classic areas. Flip it around, and the long riffle runs pushing down just below those long riffle runs in relatively shallow water were extremely productive. I had moments where it was like a fish a cast for an extended period of time of decent sized fish, so that was glorious. But I will not lie, you had to hike your bag off for them, and I did a couple hikes humping over train bridges. That shout out to the guys that found me in the middle of nowhere saying, we've never seen anyone fishing this far out. That was because I was trying to find water that was away from the masses, trying to find this shallower riffle water, and some of those hikes did not pay off and were tough. So keep that in mind. What fly was I using? Well, there's only one I use up there when things are going well, and that's the California Blonde. It was excellent. When I found fish, it produced at will. So definitely one you want to throw in your box. Put them in a couple different sizes so you can match the water conditions. And what I mean by water conditions is bouncing water, you want big ones, slack water, you want small ones. But long story short is have that one in your box. When I found fish, it was unbelievably productive. Now on the Skagit, I spent another 2 days on the Skagit, and it was great as well. I didn't see any major hatches. I saw some good medium-sized gray mayfly hatches, which were excellent. Found an interesting one where I really targeted some rising fish, you know, the ones that are constantly rising and they're not really rising on anything on the surface. Tried some emerging style patterns, so some ones with like a parachute with a drop down below them and then an actual emerger pattern where the hook is, and was surprised. I never fished those before, but had some fish that I didn't think would bite just wallop them, which was super cool. We got a few of those in the shop if you want to throw them in the mix and try them when next time you see one of those fish that's rising consistently but just not hitting anything on the surface. I also had some good fishing when I was nymphing, but I tried the entire morning with the classics like the Prince Nymph, the Hare's Ear, and some tweaks that Brendan and I have been playing with that have usually been really productive. But then when I switched to the classic small golden stone, it was lights out, put up double digits really quick in water that I've been pounding pretty hard on other stuff. Waited till the afternoon when the hatches came off, that was when we started playing with dries, and it was definitely cool. Now on the crossing levels, it is still darn high. I don't mind it at this level because I know where the crosses are. So if you know where a good cross is, you can definitely make it. Just be prepared to find a route back before you cross. Definitely recommend bringing a staff if you're wading the river if you want to get across. Cleats aren't a bad bet for both rivers, Thompson and Skagit right now, because it will push your wading skills. Heard of a few bull trout, caught a few bull trout, super cool, white streamer patterns, you know, the classic stuff. But I didn't see a ton of bull trout where I was fishing, but that all depends on where you're getting into. So that's the Skagit coverage. Now, what are we talking about when it comes to lake fishing? Now, the cool thing is Corbett Lake Lodge tuned in, gave us a report this week of what's going on for them, as well as Brendan was out up High Hume Way. So if you're going to lakes in those areas, you can consider these reports as good ones to build your strategy off of. Now, Brendan had to work, but he figured it out, caught some really nice fish, working with stomach pumps that were just full of daphnia and bloodworms, switched to the classics, dragonflies, shrimp style patterns, as well as some damsels, and did really well. When we're talking to the boys and girls up at Corbett Lake, it looks a similar story, getting deep because the water is getting hot in sort of that 70-degree zone. Not the best time to go lake fishing, but if you do, you still should be able to find fish if you work at it. All right, last but not least on the video front, you guys saw it last week. If you missed it, we have that video on the new Rio Gold Elite lines. They're really cool, way more durable, super slick. They fired through my hands beautifully, and I definitely recommend them. Little expensive, but we are giving one away for free, so you guys can give it a try. We're gonna give links down in the description below to that, as well as the end of the video. Also, Zach has a cool chronomid. We've tried to combine a number of the skills that we've been teaching you guys over the last 6 months into a blended style buzzer. This is one that he's seen a bunch in the stomach pumps and wanted to emulate, and a good one again just for the simple techniques of how to put a lot of pieces into a chronomid. All right, that's everything I got for you guys. If you want to see that buzzer style chronomid pattern where we combined a bunch of different techniques, click here. And if you want to see that Rio fly line video where we destroy a fly line and give one away for free, click here. And as always, guys, you want to see more reports like this, considering the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll catch you next week.